the media's lack of attention on Letitia James, I guess, should be expected. After all, they covered up Joe Biden for how long? Oh, 4 whole years, right? And I guess they would have covered it for another 4 had he won. Well, Jake Tapper is an anchor on CNN, and he has decided that the media should have come forward sooner with some of this information. Of course, the one problem with all of this is Jake Tapper, as an anchor on CNN, did nothing to come forward with any of the information. I guarantee you he knew what we all knew. I mean, like, you'd have to be a moron not to see it. Right here, take a look. This is one of my favorite moments because it really told me in a way who the Prime Minister of Italy really was and is. A wonderful woman, actually exiting the group of other members of the G7 that are there for a photo op after Joe Biden wanders away to look at the parachute over there on the side. And so she corrals everybody, including, most importantly, him, brings them together, and you see the slowness with which he operates. And there are many, many moments like this, and we played a lot of them here on the show because my feeling was you needed to see them, and I always showed you those in full. So there was no deceptive editing going on. There's no slow-mo going on. When you see him putting on his sunglasses so slowly, that's because he's putting them on so slowly and he's moving more and more slowly. And you saw, of course, when he would fall, coming down or up, Air Force One, all of these things, right, which started to mount. And I think it was pretty obvious to anyone who had 2 brain cells what was going on, except that the media kept covering up. Kept covering up, kept covering up. And now Jake Tapper is out with a book on the big cover-up. Let's watch him. You may have to turn up the volume a little bit. I'll see what I can do. Here we go.
Jake Tapper here. Alex Thompson from Axios and I wrote a book. It's coming out next Tuesday. It's called Original Sin, President Biden's Decline, Its Cover-Up, and His Disastrous Choice to Run Again. The book is drawn from more than 200 interviews with mostly Democratic insiders, almost all of them after the election. And one of the things we were shocked to learn, the White House physician, Dr. Kevin O'Connor, talked about how if Biden had one more fall, he might actually need to be in a wheelchair. But this was all put off until after the election. They did not want images of Biden in a wheelchair out there. You might recall that Biden started to have problems with a shuffling gait that the administration was very sensitive about. There was a time when they started having people walk with him to Marine One. Those people were there to kind of like hide the fact that his gait was as bad as it was and also have them there in case he stumbled. The White House would say that this gait issue was because Biden had fallen after the election of 2020, but the truth is that it didn't have to do with that. Dr. O'Connor's medical report said that that injury was completely healed. This had to do with other degenerative problems.
Okay. Wait, I'm going to go to this in a second. I want to go to that little bit of sound in a second. But just remember what you saw there, right? He's like, oh my gosh, there were all these things going on and nobody was reporting on it, right? That's the big sort of premise of this. Why was nobody reporting on it? Going over to a CNN clip just the other night where they had this discussion and Scott Jennings is like, wow, there's going to be some truth bombs that come out. And I think a lot of people in the media establishment are going to have egg on their face. Watch.
Watching him on The View today and watching some of the interviews he did over.
Thank you for your viewership.
Yeah, I saw it. It's rare for me, but I did watch it. I will just say, watching him over the last few days reminded me that a whole bunch of people were telling us with a straight face that this man was capable of serving another 4 years as president, and that these appearances, coupled with what I understand is going to be the equivalent of a nuclear bomb dropped on the Democratic Party when Jake Tapper and Alex Thompson's book come out next week. I don't know that the Democrats have fully internalized what's about to happen to them. Between what he looks like today and what they're about to report, get ready.
I am not sure that Joe. You just said that you said that he told Kamala Harris that she could not have any distance from him.
It's been reported. He told
it doesn't matter what he was.
He told her point blank, no daylight, kid, no daylight.
Because reporting can never be wrong?
Are you attacking the journalism around it?
You think reporting can never be wrong?
If you
come on here and you attack reporting every night.
I do not.
We actually asked him the question
There's critical
directly.
reporting about this guy, and he told her point
well,
blank.
We asked him.
Okay, so Anna wants to basically defend herself and all the ladies on The View that refuse to acknowledge the elephant in the room, all while Jake Tapper comes out with this massive, you know what, Jeff is right. Jeff Mahane joining us. Thank you for your generosity, saying he's gaslighting again. It's like gaslighting on steroids. He's like, oh my gosh, the media didn't see it. The media didn't see it. The media didn't see it. Shame on the media. Of course, I was the media, and I was the one who was telling you the whole time. He was totally fine. He was totally fine, right? I mean, he got in this giant fight with Lara Trump, who's criticizing, at the time, Joe Biden. This is like a month before the guy drops out of the race. She's like, gosh, he's talking so slow. Can he ever get the words out? And he accuses her of shaming people who suffer from a stuttering problem. I'm like, Jake, now you're trying to make a buck. I'm sorry. Shame on anyone who buys that piece of garbage written by, frankly, one giant scam artist.
Every time he comes on stage or they turn to him, I'm like, Joe, can you get it out? Let's get the words out, Joe. You kind of feel bad for him.
How do you think it makes little kids with stutters feel when they see you make a comment like that?
First and foremost, I had no idea that Joe Biden ever suffered from a stutter. I think what we see on stage with Joe Biden, Jake, is very clearly a cognitive decline.
Okay.
That's what I'm referring to. It makes me uncomfortable.
You are
to
no.
watch somebody on stage
That's so amazing. It's so amazing to me that
try and figure out an answer.
A cognitive decline.
Well, when you're trying to tell me that what I was suggesting was
I think that you were mocking his stutter.
Yeah,
I think you were mocking his stutter, and I think you have absolutely no standing to diagnose somebody's cognitive decline. I would think that somebody in the Trump family would be more sensitive to people who do not have medical licenses diagnosing politicians from afar. Plenty of people have diagnosed your father from afar, and I'm sure it offends you. Your father-in-law from afar. I'm sure it offends you. You don't have any standing to say.
I'm not diagnosing him. What I'm saying, Jake,
you just talked
is
about
that
a cognitive decline.
That Joe Biden
I have one last
struggling
question for you, Lara. You can't
times on stage, and it's very concerning to a lot of people that this could be the leader of the free world.
Okay.
That is all I'm saying. I genuinely feel
Lara
sorry
Trump.
for Joe Biden.
I appreciate it. I'm sure.
And now he's selling a book. Now the guy who shut down Lara Trump for trying to say to everybody, hey, this guy is slowing down. Now he's selling a book complaining about how the media missed this. I'm like, I mean, granted, eventually you came to the party, Jake, when it was so obvious in the debate, and you want to pat yourself on the back because you decided to echo George Clooney's little op-ed. And you say, hey, let's get this guy out of here. By then it was too late. I mean, if you'd listened to some of us in the conservative side of the media, guess what? I was all over that years ago. I was like, you can't run them. I mean, not unless you want to lose, right? And you certainly can't run Kamala Harris because, well, she's Kamala Harris. And she can't string a sentence together, all right? That's it. That's all you need to know. The woman can't talk. Not a lot going on upstairs. So what are you going to do? You should have primaried the guy. That was a no-brainer. But you're all a bunch of, I don't know, a bunch of deep state like water carriers. You felt that you had to carry the water for the administration over and over and over again. I mean, even Jen Psaki, who was there, and she was his press person, she's trying to walk back from this now saying, well, I never saw it. How could you not see it? Everybody saw it, Jenny.
I hadn't seen him in person during that period of time. I never saw that person, not a single time. And I was in the Oval Office every day that was on that debate stage. I'm not a doctor. Aging happens quite quickly. Cover up is a very loaded term, I think.
Well, it means you knew that it was really bad and you're pretending otherwise versus you're deluding yourself, which I think is what people do a lot.
Well, I understand, but I still think it's like cover up is often like a crime, right? People use that term as they relate to Watergate or the covering up of not sharing public information about a war.
Yeah, and I
think it's a bit of a dangerous term.
No, for you maybe. But what do you think you did? You covered it up. And so did Jake Tapper, who's now trying to make money on all of you guys at your expense. Man, I mean, and the Joe Scarborough stuff, best Biden ever. I mean, these people were literally nuts. And we're like, are we the only ones that see it? No, they were just covering up. That was a cover-up of epic proportions, and Jake Tapper ought to be ashamed for trying to make a buck on it after the fact. Just gross, right?